Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you are well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting a like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too, and let's crack on with today's first story. Much love, guys. Now today's first story comes from Bastard Born from the Relationships subreddit, and it says, I, 24 female, am the daughter of a woman who had a long-term affair with a married man, my father. My future mother-in-law hates me and my mum for this and is trying to manipulate my fiance, 25 male, into leaving me. Not sure what to do, and I need advice. This is my first and probably only post, barring an update. So basically, I'm the child of an affair. My mum fell in love with and got knocked up with me by a guy who was already married. My dad would periodically visit my mum and me until I was about 4, which is when his wife found out about my mum. We never saw him again. Once in a while, I think he sent some child support checks, but I'm not sure. I barely remember him since I was really young when he left me and my mum, and he never visited much, while I was awake or around anyway. I don't think he was really interested in me, just my mum. My mum had 2 jobs to support us, one at a fast food joint during the day and the other at a strip club, which I didn't find out until I was 16. She lied and told me she had another job at another restaurant at night. I'm fairly certain my mother was also a prostitute on the side, but I've never confirmed and frankly, I don't want to know. She had frequent boyfriends which she would mooch off until she got tired of their shit or they got tired of hers. Anyway, fast forward to present day. I'm engaged to the most wonderful man in the world after dating for 4 years and planning a wedding about 8 months from now. My mother still works as a stripper and lives with her current boyfriend, who is honestly a sweet guy but is also a deadbeat and an alcoholic. My fiance's mother is not so wonderful. She found out, of course, about me and my mum's background and present occupation, and she hates both of us. She's telling Mike, my fiance, not to marry me because I'm the product of adultery, and I grew up in a home where cheated is viewed as acceptable and permissible. And therefore I will most likely cheat on Mike, and he will have to get paternity tests on any children I have so he's not stuck with some other man's baby. She called my mom a harlot, a slut, and no good man stealing trash. Mike's mother has been married twice and both of her husbands cheated on her. The first one with a stripper, so I can sort of understand why Mike's mom is kind of paranoid and doesn't look with fondness on me or my mum. Mike is upset with the way his mum talks to and about me and my mum, but doesn't know what to do. It's his mum and he loves her, and up until now they had a really good relationship. But she doesn't understand why her son, who could have a good girl, would settle for someone like me. For the record, I graduated with honors, have a great job, support myself, and have never cheated on Mike or the other boyfriends I've had. I loathe cheating and do not think it's okay at all. As for my mum, she was of course deeply hurt by what my future mother-in-law said. I'll be the first to admit what my mum did/has done in the past is not okay. But I don't hate my mum. She's a very silly and immature woman who is lacking in common sense, but is not malicious in any way. She's actually very sweet and giving most of the time, but she has terrible taste in men and has made a lot of poor life decisions. She says she knows her affair with my dad was wrong, but love is love, and she couldn't help who she loved. She still views my dad as the one who got away and the love of her life. I think he's the only man she's really ever loved. I remember after my dad disappeared, her crying her eyes out every night for months and drinking herself into a stupor. Obviously, she's delusional and has never really learned from her mistakes. She lacks basic life skills and has always relied on her looks. She is very, very beautiful and charm to get by in life. But I know she did her best to be a parent to me, and I know she loves me. Is it too much for me to ask my future mother-in-law to treat my mother with respect? Or me for that matter? I'm not sure what I can ask of Mike, who feels caught in the middle and isn't sure what to do. He's never had a serious argument or been truly angry with his mother before. He hates what she says, but is clearly messing with his head because his mum has never been wrong before, which he knows she is now. What can I ask, and should I ask of my fiance? And how should I respond to Mike's mum? I want to just cut her out of my life, but I'm not sure that's fair to ask of Mike. I want him to be happy too. I have a short temper though, and it takes everything inside of me to not explode at his mum and just verbally rip her to shreds, especially when she said those things to my mum's face. And I think in this one, fiance absolutely has to step in at this moment, and talk to his mother about what's going on, because his mum is currently accusing the woman he's known for 4 years of being an inevitable cheater simply because of who her parents were, which just isn't fair, is it? And I think he should be saying, enough's enough. You don't have to like her mother, but you're going to treat my fiance with respect, and that's all there is to it. The commenter says to OP, your fiance needs to be the one who responds, not you. He needs to make it clear to her that an attack on you is an attack on him, that the two of you are one united force now, and that the things she is saying are inexcusable. If he doesn't do this, you really must not marry him, because it won't get better, and she'll eventually do everything she can to pry your children from you. Opie says, I know. It's just hard because he's never really been a mama's boy before, but is kind of acting like it now. I know he's torn because they are very close, and it sucks for him that someone he loves and respects so much is bashing on the person he loves most in life. It's hard for him to reconcile the two in his mind, but he knows I cannot and will not marry him if he doesn't do something about this soon. I won't be with a coward who chooses his mum over me. I'm not sure how much is fair to ask. I just need him to do something. The commenter replies and says, it's fair to ask him to sit her down and say, this stops, it completely stops, and it stops now. Well, not only are you not invited from the wedding, you're disinvited from my life. OP says, I could definitely get on board with that. I wouldn't mind never seeing her again. The commenter says, quoting OP, Mike is upset with the way his mum talks to and about me and my mum, but doesn't know what to do, and then says your fiance needs to stand up to his mum. I'm sure he loves her, but presumably he loves you too, and he needs to tell her to knock it off or neither of you will be seeing her. You both need to leave if you're visiting and she starts in on you. And he needs to hang up the phone if he's talking to her and she starts in. Do not marry him until he's able to stand up for you, or you'll be putting up with this your entire marriage. Opie says, oh, I know, I certainly won't. I'm just not sure how much is fair to ask or how to negotiate interactions with an openly hostile mother-in-law. It's also hard because I can't help but feel she has a teensy bit of a point. Plenty of people on Reddit would call my mother the exact same thing. So OP did update the post and says, sorry for how long it took to post an update, but I didn't expect my post to get so much attention and it took a while for it to come off the front page. I want to thank everyone who took the time to comment, even the haters and just generally overall rude and tacky people. Most of you were kind and supportive and helped me think the whole thing through. I really didn't appreciate all the nasty comments directed at my mother. She's really a kind and sweet woman who I dearly love and who has made a few bad choices in life and is too immature and emotionally damaged to see it. At least she didn't abandon me like my dad did. That was also the first and only married man she's ever had any kind of relationship with. However, I know this is Reddit, and a subset of this community just loves any opportunity to judge and bash women for any mistake and think they deserve eternal damnation. I guess it was to be expected. Also clarifying, Mike's dad was actually my future mother-in-law's second husband. The first husband cheated on her with a stripper, but that is not Mike's dad. Mike's dad also cheated, but it wasn't with a sex worker. It was a mutual friend or co-worker or something like that. Not sure on the details. Mike has no contact with his father and does not like to talk about him, so I don't ask. Anyways, on to the actual update. I actually showed Mike the post. He was quiet but kind, asked me to let him think on it, and then cooked me my favorite dinner and drew me a bath and with scented oils and candles. About a day after I posted, Mike asked me to sit and talk with him. He started off the bat by sincerely apologizing. He said the things his mother said to me and my mum were so awful and brazen, he was taken aback and froze up in response. He said that yes, his mum has made the odd snippy comment about me or my mum, but he's been good about deflecting the comment and changing the subject. He just never expected an explosion of that magnitude. He then apologized for not addressing his mother sooner, but it's been so hard for him to wrap his mind around it. That he deeply loves and respects his mother, and it has been so hard to think about the implications of her actions and what it could mean for his relationship with her. However, his life is with me now, and that if he thinks he's grown up enough to get married, then he needs to put me first, regardless of his mother. I will say I can understand why Mike is so close with his mum. I'll be the first to say I do not like my future mother-in-law, but she has many admirable qualities about her. She's very tough and ambitious, and strove to make Mike have a happy and successful life despite 2 failed marriages and being a single mum. She is quite successful career-wise. She's just too close-minded and controlling for me to ever like her much. Anywho, Mike said that none of what his mum said affected his view on me. That I'm amazing and beautiful and just perfect, and he doesn't care what my background is. He's still marrying me, and that will make him the happiest man on the planet. Mike asked me to sit right there on the sofa. He then got his phone and called his mother. I'll relay the main conversation. Mike said, "Mum, hi, I'm calling because there is something I need to talk to you about. It's about what you've been saying about my fiance and my future mother-in-law and what you said to their faces." Mother-in-law then starts to argue. Mike said, "No, stop it right now. I'm not going to listen to this bullshit anymore. Look, I know how much Tom and Dad hurt you, and I'm sorry about that, I really am. But taking it out on my name and her mum won't fix it or make it better. Jezebel, my mother, isn't the one who cheated on you, and my name didn't exactly choose to be born into the life she's had. Don't you think if she had a choice, she'd have done different?" Future mother-in-law then starts to argue and yell again, and Mike just says, "Mum, shut up and listen." Mother-in-law then goes silent. Mike's never talked to her that way ever. Mike then says, "My name is more than good enough for me. She's smart, successful, witty, ambitious, and beautiful. She has a good heart and is going to do amazing things. She's all this in spite of her past. And you know what, Mum? If you think she'll cheat on me because of her parents' relationship, then I guess I'm bound to cheat on her too, because my dad was a cheat and my mum had the bad judgment to marry 2 cheaters in a row." Mother-in-law then says, "What? But there were consequences. You weren't born from it, and I got them both out of my life. I never said it was okay. It's different. You saw how it was bad to cheat. She was raised thinking it's okay." Mike said she sounded really shaken up. Mike then said, "And my name didn't have consequences? Because her dad cheated and he abandoned her. Because of infidelity, she had to grow up without a father. Do you think my name wanted that?" Mother-in-law then goes silent and starts to speak, and Mike interrupts her saying, "No, this conversation is finished. If you still want a place at the wedding, then you will drop this topic today, immediately, forever. You didn't have to love my name or her mother. You didn't have to even like them, but you will treat both of them with respect. If you don't, you won't have a place in my life or the lives of any kids my name and I have. OP is my friend and my partner, and she will be my wife. Anything said against her is also against me. And I won't have someone who is disrespectful and cruel for no reason to me and her. Her mum is going to be my mum. I plan on calling Jezebel Mum because that's what she will be." Mother-in-law starts crying, and mother-in-law never cries. Mike said, "You owe Opie an apology. You also owe her mother one, but I can't control that. But I can control what happens in my house. I will not talk to you until you have apologized to Opie and are ready to be civil to her and her mother." Then hangs up. Opie then says, "I was and still am speechless. My fiance is the kindest person in the world, but he stood up for me and my mother without backing down. Oh, and it doesn't stop there. Mike then called my mum and apologized for his mother's behavior and said he had talked to her and it shouldn't happen again, but if it does, to please not hesitate to tell him. He also asked if he could start calling her mum, and my mum said of course. I know this meant the world to her. He also sent her a big bouquet of flowers to her for her birthday, which she should be getting sometime today or tomorrow. My mum texted me later saying she wished she could have been loved like I am at any point in her life and to please not take what I had for granted. She said she is so happy for me and thinks Mike is the most wonderful guy in the world. I got all choked up and texted her back a thank you and that I thought so too. Still haven't heard from mother-in-law, but neither of us expect to for a while. She hasn't communicated with Mike at all either, which tells us she took what he said very hard, and it'll probably take a while for her to recover from it. My guess is she'll probably feel like I stole her son from her and have corrupted him. But I guess that's what happens when you marry a conniving sin spawn like me. I really don't care, and it isn't my problem. As long as she keeps her opinions about me and my mum to herself, I'll tolerate her for Mike's sake and any future kids we have. I know for a fact that if she steps out of line, Mike won't have any qualms about cutting her out, so I'm not worried about it. Anyway, thanks again, Reddit. I wanted to share my happy update with you since most of you all were so good to me. Now getting ready to have lunch with Mike and start planning our wedding. Bless his heart. Edit, and alright, I'm taking this post down. Getting real tired of all the PMs and posts. My first one had a bunch of misogynists, this time I got people saying it's fake. Haters gonna hate. So my writing isn't good enough. I don't know what you all wanted. Thank you for those who've been supportive and helpful. I'm happy to be with Mike and planning my wedding and don't need any more negativity than already exists. Congrats, you got your wish. I'm signing off forever, and there'll be no post-wedding update because I'm sick to death of all the arseholes on here being absolutely dicks to me and my mother, and saying Mike is a figment of my imagination because he's too good to be real. Ciao. But one of the commenters said to OP, Mike is a fucking stand-up guy. I tell you what, you got a great fiance, OP. Best of luck to you. And OP says, oh, I know. I wasn't exaggerating when I said he's the greatest guy in the world in my previous post. But on the back of this one, I'm going to turn it straight to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And let's move on to another story. Now our next story comes from the Am I the Arsehole subreddit from Glittering Rainbow Cat, who says, Am I the arsehole for bringing Tupperware to a restaurant? Hey there. I think I need a few strangers from the internet to decide what's going on here. So a few weeks ago, I, female, went to a burger place with a girlfriend of mine. I know they serve quite big burgers, and in the past I always had leftovers, so I decided to bring a Tupperware this time just in case. I ordered my burger, added some wedges, and enjoyed my meal while having a super nice conversation. I ate maybe a third of the wedges and not even half the burger and decided to stop, because I also wanted some dessert. After ordering, I pulled out my box and started to fill it up with my leftovers. You know, I felt quite clever. I didn't overeat, and there was still space for dessert in my belly. I didn't have to pay $1 or so for the doggy bag, which had leaked in my bag in the past, and there would be enough for the next day's lunch. So a triple win, if you will. After everything was packed and I put the box in my bag, I realized my friend was kind of quiet, but didn't think much about it. She tends to be quiet after eating. After we were done, everyone paid for their own meal and we left. Then she looked at me and was like, oh my gosh, this was so embarrassing. I was confused. She explained to me how awkward she felt, people were staring and whatnot, and was kind of mad. I explained my point of view, the benefits and all, but nope. In the end, I was like, please calm down. It's not like I took the box to an all-you-can-eat buffet and stuff it full in front of the waiters. We also didn't split the bill, so it's fine. I ordered more with tomorrow in mind. She was still mad, so we went our separate ways. But here's the thing. I still think it's a good, environmentally friendly way, and did it again while eating with a guy friend a few days ago. He was like, whoa, that's neat, and even gave me some of his onion rings. So dear strangers of the internet, am I the arsehole or not? Should I have communicated before pulling out my box? Should I have asked the waiter, which hadn't said anything at all? Or should I just buy the leftover box from the restaurant next time? I absolutely don't know. Please share your thoughts with me. What also comes to my mind, I'm quite overweight and struggle with BED or bed, so I was happy to not overeat. My friend has normal weight and has no ED as far as I know. I just googled BED or bed and it says binge eating disorder. It then says, thank you for reading. Edit. And thank you for your reply so far. I'll answer a few things here. Where are you from? Central Europe. This thread is huge, so that should be specific enough. 2. Here it's super common to pay for one-use items. For example, boxes in restaurants and plastic bags. 3. It was not a date. Maybe the term female friend would have been better, but yeah, it was just a girl's dinner. 4. I can be a little eccentric from time to time and all my friends know that, but she and I weren't out for lunch or dinner often. 5. In general, she's a very nice and pleasant person to be around and we have a good time together. I'm pretty sure there was some kind of trigger. We'll contact her tomorrow and try to talk to her, so there might be an update coming. I really don't see what the issue is here. Like, you know, OP ordered the food, paid for the food, ate until they were comfortably full, and then packed the rest into their own reusable container instead of wasting it or paying for extra disposable packaging. You know, it's about as sensible as it gets, right? And the binge eating disorder comment was important as well, because it sort of changed it up a little bit at the same time, because if that helps OP avoid overeating, but also avoiding food waste at the same time, you know, absolutely healthy strategy to deal with it. If I spotted someone in the restaurant doing this, I think, you know, fair play to you, right? And many of the restaurants I go to these days almost encourage you to take the food away, which I think is a great thing. A commenter says, not the arsehole. As a chef and restaurant owner, I applaud this sort of thinking and wish more people would consider it for casual dining. There are no to-go boxes that are really quality. All too expensive to use, so this is a great fix for everyone. Your friend has their own insecurities that have nothing to do with you. Cosmic says, not the arsehole. I'd be a bit thrown off if someone I was with pulled out their own container, as that's not normal. But to be perfectly honest, the second I read that, I just thought, why didn't I think of ever doing that first? Less single-use garbage, and it's better for the environment. And if you already know you have leftovers for sure, then why not? Maybe it should be the normal. Had me in the first half there. Another commenter says, not the arsehole, she seems insecure about what other people think. I brought Tupperware to restaurants for leftovers too. I don't like collecting takeout plasticware, nor do I like creating trash if the takeout container is single-use or styrofoam. Was this a date? Sounds like she's not for you and she has some growing up to do. Also, there was no need to mention your weights at all. One more comment who says, not the arsehole, your friend sounds so dramatic, I'm exhausted thinking about hanging out with her. This should have been a 2-minute conversation. Friend says, why'd you have your own Tupperware? Opie says, oh, for these 3 reasons. Friend, cool, good thinking ahead. Every city and state I can think of that implemented charges for to-go boxes and bags did so specifically to reduce single-use item waste and encourage bringing your own. You can't pack it in your stuff for health code reasons, but there's not a single restaurant that gives 2 flying fucks. I say this as someone who grew up in my family's restaurant, served, hosted, and managed. Not only is your friend dramatic, she's stupid. Please roll your eyes at her next time on my behalf. Also, congratulations on your accomplishment. BD or bed is tough, and you did that, girl. Opie did update this post and says, hey there. First, I want to thank you for all the responses in my original post. I really appreciate it. For the update, the day after my original post, I reached out to my friend and asked if she has time the next few days. We meet today for a nice long stroll in the park. The beginning was kind of awkward because we'd never had a fight before. Normally it's also not a problem when life is busy and we don't write for a few days or even weeks, but today it somehow felt strange. I'm not a fan of beating around the bush, so I simply asked her, so in that burger place, what exactly triggered you? Honestly, it was like poking a water balloon. She apologized for everything and how afraid she was I might still be mad at her and apologized some more. Then she explained to me what her trigger was. What can I say? We were all kind of wrong. You guys, it's her aunt. She has an aunt who will always bring a few boxes for family gatherings, but instead of waiting until everyone is done and the food is back in the kitchen, which is fine, she sometimes fills the boxes before it goes to the table. Because my friend's grandma knows of this behavior, she started to cook even more. But the aunt just brought more boxes as well. But that's not all. Said aunt would also bring boxes to restaurants, and if they order different meals, that everyone can have a try from all the plates. She's like, no one wants that anymore, right? And packs while people are still eating. My friend is a slow eater, so often her aunt filled her boxes before she could try everything she wanted. I always wanted to use the word flabbergasted in a post. I think this is the right time. I was definitely flabbergasted. How impudent can a person be? I asked why no one is saying anything about it, but they're all just too tired to deal with her outbreaks. It's easier to say nothing. And I felt that. So yeah, she knew it was my food and everything, but it also triggered her real bad. I apologized as well for not warning her, but she said it was totally her fault. I said I will make sure next time, but she was like, no, it's a nice way to work on it. Well, in the end, we had a really nice stroll, talked about different things, and everything is good. I'm really glad that we cleared that out though. Thank you for reading this. Have a great day and a nice week. Damn, that aunt is absolutely wild. I'm glad that they were able to have a conversation and talk this out. But the amount of commenters below that who was talking about a family member who is very similar to that will turn up and just start packing up food and take all the leftovers, etc. It's absolutely wild. I remember a story, it must have been at least a couple of years ago, but still sticks with me, where, people turned up to like these potlucks and they turned up with nothing, but turned up with tubs, packed a load of shit and went home. And it's just like, what the hell? But what do you guys make of this situation? Have you got a family member who's similar to that, or maybe a friend, or have you heard a story about it? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Now, just a huge thank you for being here today, getting involved in the stories, your love, your support, your time. It always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much for being here. Truly is absolutely amazing. And hopefully I'm going to see you in the next one. Take care and much love.